Good afternoon. I want to welcome everybody to Cuisine of Different Cultures. My name is Paula Ludwig. I am with the Atlantic Institute. We promote positive dialogue between different cultures, religions, going out and meeting your next door neighbor. Our vision is of a peaceful world. We do all sorts of programs. We do this one. We do one called Cultural Creations, which is different crafts and arts. We do dialogue events. We do TED Talks, which is also a dialogue event. So we encourage everybody to check out our website, Atlantic Institute, South Carolina, and see all that we have going on. Make sure you put in South Carolina. We do have sister organizations in other states. Right now we're doing everything virtually, and while doing this, we have come across some new and wonderful friends. I'm going to show you a short video about the Atlantic Institute. Just give me 1 second. Sorry about that. All right, here we go. I'm going to start that now. Whoops. There it is. Big green button. Share my screen.
The Atlantic Institute is a nonprofit organization dedicated to promoting harmonious coexistence between peoples of various cultures, faiths, and backgrounds. We seek this goal through peaceful dialogue, education initiatives, and community organization. Our dialogue events bring together experts, community and faith leaders, and knowledge seekers to address social issues that affect us all. We feel dialogue is the most important element in peaceful coexistence, so we try and maintain several panel discussions, TED Talk events, and book clubs throughout the year. These events touch on social issues, race relations, and cultural understanding, and are a mainstay of our program. The Atlantic Institute's education events are extremely important to our mission of understanding. We want to promote socially forward critical thinking to students of all ages. To that end, we have developed programs that seek to grow the creative spirit of students and help them think about their communities and the world around them. Our Future Leaders of Dialogue event brings together nominated elite students to learn from each other as well as political and business leaders. Our art and essay contest gives students a theme about important societal issues and allows them to create wonderful works of art and writing while steering their minds towards improving their world. We're always seeking ways to educate youth and adults in order to make a peaceful world for all of us. Our community events are designed to transform neighbors into friends and groups of people into a community. By associating with other nonprofits or by our own initiative, we are always trying to discover new avenues to improve our neighborhoods, places of worship, and community centers. We host cooking demonstrations of food from other cultures, work with various nonprofits to help elevate the work of others, and try to find a way to make the lives of those who are disenfranchised or marginalized better. Building a more peaceful world starts in our backyards, so we are dedicated to improving our communities and associations. The Atlantic Institute is always seeking like-minded volunteers and collaborators. If you would like to learn more, find volunteer opportunities, or just want to chat with our staff, please visit our website at www.atlanticinstitutesc.org or follow us on Facebook. We will never run out of fun, educational, peaceful events. So come, join us to help make this world a better place full of understanding and unity.
All right. So I am going to now turn this over to our wonderful instructor. Just one last thing for those of you who have come in later than others, we like to see where everybody's coming from. And so we do event programming evaluations. And so if you would like to put where you're from in the chat, you can either privately chat me or you can put it in the group chat. We're looking like we're all over the United States this year. So I want to say thank you. I am going to now turn this over to Nola. And thank you very much, Nola.
You're welcome. Taisha from New York City. I literally just moved to New Jersey, but I will be back. Hey everyone, my name is Nola Rowe and I am the creator of Sumptuous Vegan. I have a background in culinary arts. I attended the Long Island Culinary Institute in 2015. And I've been having a really good time just, transforming all of the dishes that I love, that my family and friends love, into the vegan version. And today is no exception. The dish that I will be preparing today is coming from New Orleans. It's a Creole or Cajun jambalaya. Now, this usually has sausages in it, chicken. Sometimes people put seafood, but today we are going to make it without those things. But what makes it amazing is we will not be losing out in any flavor at all. So I am going to go ahead and get started. All right, let's go. I'm gonna have to turn my camera, so just bear with me and let's get started right away. Alrighty, so the first thing that I'm going to do is to, of course, put my heat on. You want to always make sure that your pans or pots are being heated in advance. I am going to start by prepping my vegetables that will be in this pan first, which are my onions, garlic, pepper, and tomatoes. For this recipe, I recommend multicolor peppers, simply because it really gives it that colorful, fun look, and it really makes you want to start eating before the meal is finished, because I find that when foods are colorful, people are more excited. If you are interested in having your family transition to more vegetables, more fruit, definitely give them some color, all right? So I'm doing a really big chop for my onions. You don't have to do your chops this big. I am doing mine this big because that's the way I like my onions. I like them to be nice and coarse. So my olive oil is in there. And once that heats up to the right temperature, I'm gonna start adding my vegetables. I have a really cool gadget for my garlic. I think I might have left it in the basement yesterday, so I am currently doing the garlic the manual way. So I'm just going to mince my garlic. And I can actually hear the oil starting to have a really gentle sizzle going on. So it's moving about pretty freely. That means it's not as thick, which means it's heated, it's ready, and we're gonna start adding our vegetables. All right. First things first, our onion. If you have experience with building flavors, you can actually start to add your flavor now. But for people who have a sensitivity to salt, I would definitely skip that part if I were you. So I'm continuing to mince my garlic. And then the garlic will join the onions in a couple of seconds. This recipe asked for beefsteak tomatoes, but I will be using my grape tomatoes today because that's what I have. And I also want to encourage you to kind of switch up on ingredients. If there's an ingredient in your recipe that's not available, you know, be creative with it. This recipe also asks for kidney beans. I have someone, a guest who is allergic, so I'll be skipping that today. And that's another thing that I encourage you to do, all right? Skip on ingredients if they don't work. Add ingredients that you feel might be really good. And just have fun with it, all right? So we do have our onion, garlic, and pepper in the oil. I can do these whole, which makes them look really pretty, but I'm actually gonna cut them in half, which will give me more pieces. This smells amazing, guys. Really, really amazing. And again, if you wanted to, you could definitely start adding your salt and pepper at this point. If you're, you know, if you're used to building flavor, but not necessary. It'll get in there. Look how colorful that is. It's already looking really beautiful. We have our onions, garlic, the orange peppers, the red tomatoes. It's already looking really pretty. And that's what we want to look forward to. We want to look forward to the colorful dishes because it's healthier that way. The more colors you have, the more nutrients you have. This recipe also asks for black olives. I am using the green ones again. That's what I have in my pantry. So that's what I'll be using. I'm just cutting these up in advance. I'm going to be adding them a little later on. But while the onions, garlic, and these vegetables are cooking, I'm just keeping myself busy and making sure that I am prepared for the end. I am also going to get my thyme ready, which also goes in towards the end. The recipe will tell you how much to put in. I will be putting more than the recipe asks for because I really, really, really love fresh thyme. All right. So I don't know how well you can hear this sizzle, but sizzling is a cooking language. Like you can literally listen and listen to the speed of the sizzle, the volume of the sizzle, and that tells you what's going on. So it's sizzling quicker, it's sizzling louder, and it's telling me that it's getting hotter and it needs attention. We want to make sure we're not burning anything. So I am now going to add my tomato paste. I'm adding a little bit more than the recipe asks for because I love, 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 love tomato paste. It has a little bit of sugar in there because it's been dehydrated. So the sugar from the tomatoes is really present, and I really love that about it. It also gives the jambalaya a nice color. So we're just coating the vegetables with this. I'm gonna leave this for a few seconds and then I will add my rice. So as I use my items, I just move them out. You know what? Let's save this for later. I have another use for that rice. So this is my long grain. I'm adding it directly to the vegetables. This is a little bit more than half a cup. I'm gonna give it a little bit more heat and get the rice into the party. feel like this needs a little bit more rice, but I am currently in the midst of cutting down on my rice and my bread. So I'm just putting a little less rice than the recipe asks for. So don't be alarmed. Give this a second just to get that flavor in there. So I, like I said earlier, I will not be using kidney beans. I have my garbanzo beans, also known as chickpeas, which will serve for the beans. That's going to represent for the beans. Have my artichoke, have my vegetable stock, which has been sitting out for a few minutes because this needs to be up to room temperature. Because if it's super cold, it changes the temperature too quickly. So I will gradually add my vegetable stock in there and start the process of getting it boiled. The best tactic, honestly, for this would be for you to heat your vegetable stock beforehand, put it in a separate pot, and heat it up. That way, when you add it to your jambalaya, it's already warm. But the tactic that I use, because it's mine is not warm, it's barely at room temperature, I gradually put it in so that I didn't want to put the whole amount in at the same time and just have the temperature drop too quickly, all right? So let's add a little bit more. As you can see, the color of the jambalaya is starting to form. And if there's anyone who's not able to see, let me know if I'm too far. I can probably move you in a little bit closer. Let me see. I think you all can see this pretty well, can you? So in a little while, I will be adding a little bit more vegetable stock. But for now, let's leave this as is. And as I mentioned before, I'm gonna give this a second to bring the temperature up. I am going to add our seasonings in a second. And towards the end, I am going to add the additional vegetables that are already cooked, such as the chickpeas, my artichoke, and my olives. All right, so let me just bring the temperature up on this a little bit and start to season it. Okay, this smells absolutely amazing. So I'm putting my oregano in there. Black pepper. Instead of putting salt, I will be using Cajun seasoning because that already has salt in it. All right. And let's get some chili powder in there. So now that I have my temperature, my desired temperature, I'm going to get all of this incorporated. Add the vegetable stock that I told you about earlier. I'm going to add a little bit more in a second. Just really want to get this flavor incorporated, as you can see. I get a lot of questions from people with high blood pressure and other ailments that requires a low sodium intake. For that, I will definitely recommend making sure that your vegetable stock is low sodium, because again, this is another thing that's adding flavor to your dish. And it's also the reason why I don't recommend adding your salt at the beginning. And that's because when you start to add these different things, they might have salt in them. Your Cajun seasoning might have salt in them. And you don't want to add a bunch of different flavors that all have their own salts, because at the end, it's just going to be too salty. And if you are suffering from high blood pressure or other ailments that require low salt intake, that will be no good for you, all right? So my pepper flakes, my bay leaf, as you can see, the boil is getting, the bubbles are popping quicker, they're forming quicker, and they're getting bigger. So that means that we want to turn the temperature down a little bit and give it an opportunity to cook. My pepper flakes, my bay leaf, my thyme, and in a little bit, I'll add my mushroom seasoning. This mushroom seasoning is a game changer, ladies and gentlemen. It's an absolute game changer. Whatever the flavor of your dish is, this takes it to another level. I love it so much, all right? So let's just give this a second. I'll add this in. And I think that while this is cooking, if you all have any questions, maybe we can cover the questions now, because this is going to need a few minutes so that the rice can cook. Mushroom seasoning, you don't need a lot. I just gave it 2 pinches. Do you see that jambalaya coming? Do you see the color, that really rich color? That color is an indication of flavor as well, all right? We have our Cajun seasoning in there. We have our chili. We have our tomato paste. All of those guys are contributors to this really beautiful and rich color.
They want to know if the mushroom seasoning is a powder or flakes.
Honestly, I would call it a blend. It's like a blend of powder and it's a powdery consistency. I can probably, let me see if this will do any justice. Can you see this? So that's it.
And where would you get something like that?
I purchased this in Chinatown when I'm in New York, but because I'm no longer in New York, I would get this on Amazon.
Okay. And it's just called mushroom seasoning?
Mm-hmm. Mushroom extract.
I'm asking these questions for myself. I love mushroom stuff, and I have a relative who moved in with me who no longer can use garlic, and so I've been missing my garlic, but I love mushroom almost as much as garlic. So I'm like, never heard of mushroom seasoning. So I have to try and find some of that. That sounds wonderful.
When you try this, I need you to email me and thank me.
I will.
You're going to love it. I promise you.
I used to cook with garlic in everything savory, and now I very rarely get it because, you know, that person lives with me, and so yes, it's been very difficult.
Trust me, I completely understand the dietary restrictions, and that's why I make sure that, you know, I speak about substitutions and I give people the option of having fun with this. Like, if you need to eliminate something, go for it. If you feel like something else should be added, go for it. Just experiment and have a good time.
Awesome. It's looking good. It's looking good.
Yeah, it's getting there. Are there any other questions from anyone else while our jambalaya is coming around? So right now it's covered, and of course the covering method is really to trap that heat and to trap the moisture, because we kind of want to have it to we wanted to have that moist consistency at the end.
So you didn't use any water in there for the rice? You just used the vegetable stock?
Yep, and you can definitely use water, you know, again, there are times when you go to the supermarket and you cannot find a vegetable stock that doesn't have sodium. So at times like those, definitely if you want to water down the vegetable stock, maybe half water, half stock, or you want to just use water, go for it. But yeah, you can definitely use water instead.
All right.
Any other questions? Anyone else? Don't be shy. Okay, so I am going to turn the camera back to the jambalaya and let's continue to cook. All right. So there we go. So this is what it looks like so far. It's definitely in there steaming. Turn the heat up a little bit. And this is about a 15-minute, this portion of it is about 15 minutes because you want to get your rice nice and steamed and you want to get that flavor infused. In a few seconds, I'm going to start adding the other components and just give this an opportunity to for the rice to soften up some more. And of course, if there are any questions along the way, just don't be shy. Feel free to ask. Paula, I will also send you the link to the mushroom if you'd like.
Yes, please. That would be awesome.
Okay. So I will be adding some more stock in a second. My chickpeas. If you are listening to that, which, like I said before, sizzle is like cooking language, it tells you, okay, this is definitely the moment when we need our stock in there. I like to add the stock gradually.
A couple of the participants have asked that you share the link for the mushroom seasoning in the link here, if you would.
Okay, I would have to literally go online, pull it up, and then paste it if you guys are okay with that.
That would be fine.
Okay. Our jambalaya is getting there. The more you stir it, the more the starches are released and the stickier, the wetter the rice will be, which is okay for this dish. So I encourage stirring it as much as you like. Okay, so I am going to turn my camera off so that my face is not in the camera and I'm not scaring you guys. Okay. Okay, this is showing that if I order it in New Jersey, I would get it tomorrow. So
I have they have a question. They want to know if it's possible to use leftover rice instead of making it in the dish.
definitely go for it. Yeah, that would definitely be a good idea. I wouldn't mind doing it that way. I think the only difference is having the flavor as infused. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it would be on top of the rice rather than the rice soaking up some
Right.
of that flavor. Yeah.
Exactly. But no big deal. I'm just gonna add some artichokes to this. We're starting to get to that point where the rice is getting to a really good texture, really good consistency. It's soft enough. I would recommend you chopping these babies up, but I am making this dish according to how the people that are currently in my home like it. So here's the thyme that I mentioned earlier when I said that I like a lot of it. Adding a little bit of olives, bay leaf, fresh herbs. I like to add them towards the end because sometimes they're super pungent. Pepper flakes. Making this a little spicy. If you do not have experience with pepper flakes, take your time with them because those flakes get really hot really fast. And you just need a little bit.
I have a question. Was that from the jar? Probably the artichokes.
Yes.
Yes.
I am going to give this a few minutes just so I can get a little bit of that herby flavor from the thyme and the bay leaf. That's it. Of course, you can add those guys in much earlier when it's in the boiling phase. You can definitely do that to get more of the flavor, but I chose to add them in at the end, which is how I usually do it. And in a few minutes, this is gonna be dinner. It's gonna be ready. As far as garnish goes, I recommend using parsley, cilantro, scallions, the green onions, using the green part of it, sprinkle it on top. Always make your food look pretty. You don't have to be in a high-end restaurant. It doesn't have to be a fancy situation. Every time you cook your food, garnish it, make it look pretty. I mean, I feel like it does something for the soul when your food just looks amazing, right? So while this is happening, I am just cleaning up a little bit. I have to prepare for my workshop, which is right after this. And I just want to make sure that, you know, I don't have a big mess to clean after.
Nola has events out on Eventbrite. Do you advertise your events anywhere else?
My website and Eventbrite for now.
Okay. And what is your website?
Sumptuousvegan.com.
Yes. And so that's here at the bottom of the screen by her picture. So check it out and see what all else she's doing. That's how I found her. I know I found her there. And I don't know what dish she was making at the time, but I'm sure it sounded good if I had contacted her. So, anybody have any more questions? All right, well, we're waiting. I'm going to talk about the Atlantic Institute has a, like I told you, we do cultural creations. And in May, we are doing a recycle craftathon. That is on Eventbrite. It is also on our website. And we're asking for more participants in that. You can see the information on Eventbrite, or if you want to email me individually, I can send you more information as well. We have a question. When do the beans go in?
I put the beans in when the rice was halfway through cooking. I didn't want it to suck up any of the moisture and disrupt the rice's opportunity to get soft. But really, you just want to put the beans in at a point where it just needs heat because it's already cooked. I'm using garbanzo beans from a can. It's already cooked, so it doesn't really need much work to it. And look at that.
I'll be right there with my fork.
If you arrive with your fork, I will be so scared. So if you're able to get here in no time.
Especially since I'm in South Carolina, yes.
Exactly.
It would take me a little while. By the time I got there, I probably wouldn't be as hungry.
It probably won't be here.
Probably not.
Because I have hungry people. So I am kind of taking this out in a way where, you know, it's a little bit of everything in the plate. Have my artichoke, have my olives, tomatoes. It's a lot going on. So here we go. That's our jambalaya.
That absolutely looks, yeah, I'm hungry now. Anybody else? Anybody have more questions? That was really great.
I am just letting this cool down a little bit and then I'll give it a little taste. You're welcome. It's always awkward to eat stuff that other people can't taste, but I have to prove to you guys that it's not going to kill me, so don't be mad at me that I'm eating. All right. Oh my gosh, so good. Alrighty, so if there are no other questions, you guys, I am a total mess just making this one thing. All right, so I do have to go get changed and get ready for my workshop. I believe that's the same workshop that you attended.
Awesome.
And thank you all. And I appreciate you, of course. If you are interested in transitioning to veganism, if you are interested in just dabbling in the food, visit sumptuousvegan.com, or you can follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Sumptuous Vegan. I have a lot of cooking videos. I have ebooks. I have a visual cookbook that I just released, my very first recipe, which is a seared vegan scallop with garlic butter pasta. It's currently on my website as well. So tap in, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Nola. Thank you very much. That is the end of class. I'm going to stop recording now. Thank you, everyone.
See you later.
Bye-bye.